This video is specifically for my friend David Ben Shaul, who I know has a keen interest in Genesis 1. And there was a time where we were supposed to study together, and I'd forgotten that I was already kind of booked, and I had to cancel on him, so I hope this will go some way in repairing that. Okay, so here we have Genesis 1. And here it is as a match in full. And here is the value, 2701. 2701. And here in red is every time the sum, or value, 2701 exists in the entire Tanakh. So this here in red adds up to 2701 and on down. But today we're going to look specifically at other verses in the Torah that have the same value as the very first verse. So other verses in the Torah that have this value. So, first of all, 2701 is two prime numbers multiplied. So it's 37 times 73 equals 2701. And you'll notice that 37 and 73 here are mirror images of each other. Again, Genesis 1:1. The next verse in the Torah with that value is Genesis 8:14. So here we have Genesis 1, in the beginning, or when God began to create heaven and earth. So we have here the heavens and the earth, haaretz. Remember this. Remember what this word looks like. So this is the land, or the earth. And we said that 8:14 had the same value. I'm going to read 8:13 just to give a little context. In the 601st year, in the first month, the first of the month, the waters began to dry from the earth. And when Noah removed the covering of the ark, he saw that the surface of the ground was drying. Okay, so here's the verse that has the value 2701. And in the second month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth was dry. So you might notice here, well, two things. Both verses end with haaretz. Both of those verses end with the land. They're both about the land, and that word ends both verses. So here's Genesis 1 and 8:14. So Genesis 1, we know God began to create heaven and earth. So here he's making earth, making the land. And here he's washed the land, and now it's been covered by water, and now finally we have the land, or the earth, was dry. And then the very next thing that happens is God spoke to Noah again, saying it's okay to, now here are your instructions to leave and what you do after. And that seems like now it's a whole new, everything's new. It's been washed, and we're starting with a new covenant, new rules, the 7 laws of Noah. Though it hasn't been officially established yet. But again, both of these verses are about the land. And we have the creation of the land, and then the washing and purifying, and land showing up once again. The next time is Exodus 9:29, where the value or sum 2701 appears twice. So this verse doesn't have is not 2701. That value appears twice in it, as you'll see. So Exodus 9:29. Let's go down to there. And here it is at the top here. Exodus Shemot 9:29. You can see here this is 2701, and so is this, which is included. This is also 2701. So let's check that verse out. 9:29. Moses said to him, "As I go out of the city, I shall spread out my hands to the Lord. The thunder will cease, and the hail will fall no more, so that you may know that the earth, or the land, is God's, or the Lord's." The tetragrammaton here. And again, another verse that ends with haaretz, the land, the earth. So that's 3 now. Again, this one has 2701 in it twice, beginning here with Moshe. Let's take a look at that one more time. And ending, so it begins with Moshe here, ends with the tetragrammaton, and then down here as well. And again, ends with haaretz. Okay, next one is Leviticus 20:27. Leviticus 20:27. Let's check that out. Leviticus 20:27. Here we are. And there it is. A match 2701. And let's see what this says. A man or a woman who has a ghost or familiar spirit shall be put to death. They shall be pelted with stones, and their blood guilt shall be upon them. This is specifically talking about idol worship that's like sorcery and witches and things like this, wizardry and the black magic and what have you. And you can see here it's Av and Yadoni. And I'm familiar with this even from studying the 7 laws, because noahides are also not to partake in this type of worship. And here it is as part of the 613. It would be taking on customs that are idolatry. Okay, so those are the only... Those are the ones that are in the Torah of the 5 books of Moses. But I'm going to do one more, because in 2 Samuel 1:18, it also has the value 2701. And we'll just go and check that one out quick. So 2 Samuel and chapter 1:18. He ordered the Yehuda, it says here, or Bnei Yehuda, so that's what we'll say. He ordered the Bnei Yehuda to be taught the song of the bow, or to be taught bow. To be taught, he ordered the Bnei Yehuda to be taught It says here the song of the bow, or to be taught bow. It is recorded in the book of haYashar, or to be taught the bow. So he ordered Bnei Yehuda to be taught the song of the bow, or the bow, and it is recorded in the book of haYashar. Very strange verse. So I look it up in the Talmud here, in Avodah Zarah 25a, and they're discussing what is this book of haYashar. Behold is written the book of haYashar. What is the book of haYashar? This is the book of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who were called righteous, or Yasharim. As it is said, or as it is written with regard to them, let me die the death of the righteous, Yasharim, and let my end be like his. So I've looked into this, and most agree. There are some other opinions, but most agree it seems to be the book of haYashar is Genesis. And what's interesting about that is these are books to this day. A famous book of Midrash is Sefer haYashar. You can look this up on Sefaria. And then there's one of Musar and ethics, Sefer haYashar as well. But this got me thinking. So he ordered the Bnei Yehuda to be taught the song of the bow, or to be taught the bow, and it's in the book of haYashar, which is Genesis by most accounts. And it reminded me that bow is in Genesis. So the first time we come across anything like the word bow, it's referring to the rainbow. And here is in Genesis 9:13, this is Hashem saying, my bow, my rainbow, my bow in the clouds, as a sign for the covenant. And then when you look at this verse, so here it is, I've set my bow in the clouds, and it shall serve as a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Haaretz. So you can see how these things are all tied together, and that's just a little bit, because there are more verses in the Tanakh, and if you take you can kind of pause the video or whatever if you want to record all of these. These are the ones in the Torah, and then 2 Samuel on down. These are the ones from the entire Tanakh, and then we have Nahum and Job as well. It appears twice. And that's the final one. So it's very interesting. You can look these up if you'd like, or we can study them together, David. It's up to you. But I just thought you might find that interesting. The Gematria of 2701 in the first verse of Genesis. And there seems to be a little connection there to the 7 laws. Or, yeah, the covenant of the 7 laws, where this Avin Yadoni is things that we're supposed to stay away from as well, as being non-Jews. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, David. Thank you.